Hi, welcome to my channel. So it's Halloween time, and that's my favorite time of the year. So I just wanted to talk about this creepy urban legend that I've been looking into called the Black-Eyed Kids. Now, the Black-Eyed Kids is a paranormal phenomenon that's been going on since the late 1990s. What the Black-Eyed Kids are is young children aging from 6 to 16 years old with pale skin and black eyes. They're usually seen panhandling, or they come knocking on your door in the middle of the night. They usually ask to come into your house, and once you refuse them, they get very aggravated, and they demand you to let them into your home. Ride. And that have seen and experienced the Black-Eyed Kids is that it was late at night, and they encountered them, they felt very uneasy. But once the children disappeared, they felt calm and relieved. A bunch of different stories on the Black-Eyed Kids, and I don't know, it totally creeps me out, and I want to share my experience as well, along with others that I've read, that the creepiest, most unsettling ones that I've found and personally was scared of. So, one is this couple, they were sleeping, and it was around 3 a.m. And the wife heard a knock on the door, and she thought like it was just something, because they just had a big blizzard and they're sitting. So she just assumed, oh, we're probably just hearing like snow fall or whatever, something could be banging up against the door. The knocking persisted, and it started to get more aggressive. So she said to her husband, you need to go open the door and see who's there. Maybe somebody got into a car accident in front of our house and they need help. So they went outside and opened the door, and it was two children. One was around 8 years old, the other one was kind of like a teenager. And they said, my mom is coming to get us. We need to come into your house and use your phone. So the wife was like, oh, sure, absolutely, you guys can come in, because it was two children. Who's going to refuse children into their home or help children? Now, the one thing that the woman said that freaked her out the most is the child's voice was very mature. It wasn't a child's voice. It was an adult's voice. Now, they both had hoods on, so she didn't notice that anything was off with these children. They sat on the couch, and she offered them hot cocoa. They said, no, my mom is coming. And she was like, oh, okay, yeah, no problem. But if you guys want hot cocoa, it's here. And they were like, my mom's coming. All of a sudden, her husband started to get nosebleeds as the kids were there. The next thing she knew, the kids were getting up and getting into a black vehicle with two grown men in suits. And that was it. They just left. And she noticed as they were leaving, they turned and looked at her, that their eyes were completely black and their skin was completely white. They just left. They left them unharmed. A few months later, she suffered bad migraines, and she got chronic bloody noses like her husband had when the kids were in the home. Then they find out that the husband had bowel cancer. I mean, it's kind of creepy that happened right after they experienced these Black-Eyed Kids. Now, another story that I read was this man was traveling home from business, and he was driving the back roads of New York, which is all woods. It was described as all woods. I've never been there, so I don't know. But it was described as woods, dark. Nobody else was on the road besides this man. And he was trying to keep up with the driving and not fall asleep. Unfortunately, you know, when you've been driving long distances, it becomes to a point that it's unsafe for you to drive, and it becomes a danger for everybody else on the road. So he knew it was around his time to stop driving. The next thing he knew, there was a child with a hood on standing in front of his car. He was on a highway, so he was going pretty fast, and he had no time to stop, and he hit this child. Now, he stopped his vehicle and got out, made sure that the kid was okay. The kid stood up, looked blanklessly at him, and just ran into the woods. There was no blood on the child, there was no blood on the ground, and there was no blood on his vehicle. Nothing. So he followed the child into the woods, He was saying, "Are you okay? Are you okay? I just hit you. Are you okay? I'm going to call an ambulance." And he couldn't find the child. He was completely gone. But when he looking back, he said, "I was scared to follow that kid into the woods because when he looked at me, he had no eyes. They were completely black." He called the cops and there was no sign of this child. They thought he was crazy. So, I don't know, that's weird. Now, there's another story, and this is personal. So, I'm a little hesitant to share this because I don't want any weird feedback saying that I made it up. This is what inspired me to look up the black-eyed kids, because I didn't know what I experienced this night, but I knew it was not normal. So, it was around 11:30 at night. It was the beginning of spring this year. My best friend called me, so I ran outside to talk to her because it's just a little bit quieter outside for me to talk. So I just went outside to talk to her, which is normal for me to do. I've never had any kind of problems going outside before this night. So I'm outside and I'm talking to my friend, and she was distressed. Something personal was going on. I'm not going to get into that. But she was a little upset, so I was trying to calm her down. And all of a sudden, I heard a bicycle coming. Now, I'm just like, whatever. It's a bike. It's somebody riding a bicycle. It's not a big deal. But I felt very, very sick to my stomach and alert. And you have to be very alert where I live because unfortunately, it's very dangerous. I live in a very dangerous town. So I'm thinking to myself, why am I feeling so uneasy that a bicycle is coming down my street? It's not a big deal. So I'm looking over to the street to see where the bike is and just, make sure that it's nothing bad and just make sure that the person's okay and all that. So the bicyclist reaches my driveway, which is, I have a pretty long driveway, so I was like halfway in the driveway, and obviously the bike was on the street, so it was at the end of my driveway. I look, and I'm not even kidding, I have chills right now. I look, it's a child, like 10 years old, which is very uncommon for where I live to be out that late. So nobody lets their child out that late. So I'm just like, what the heck? And they were looking at me, and he had a gray hoodie on. His eyes were completely black. Black. I was fucking horrified. I ran. I watched for a minute because I was frozen with shock and fear. And my friend was still talking, and I'm just not even responding to her because I was that scared. And I was watching the bike go by, and he wasn't even pedaling. The bike was just going. And there's a hill, so there's no way that the bike was just going. And his head was completely turned, he was frozen, even going down the street. It was so weird. Now, that's what spiked my interest into finding out what I saw, because nobody believed me. And all that night, I could not sleep. I was laying down, and my bed was against my window. I have 2 windows in my bedroom, and my bed was against one of them. And I heard talking and whispering and moving all night long. I woke my fiance up. I said, "Can you please look outside and see if there's anybody out there?" And he said there was nobody. And every time I was just about to fall asleep, I would hear talking again. It was so weird. So what does a rational person do? They take to Google. So I just started looking up ghosts and black-eyed ghosts, and then black-eyed kids, of course, came up. It was the weirdest experience in my life, and nobody believes me besides a couple people. So, I don't know. This is officially my first YouTube video, so I just want to put this on here, and thank you for watching this. And if you like my video, I'm going to be doing more like this, because I love creepy stuff. anything to do with paranormal, conspiracy theories, urban legends, this is where you'll find it, because I'm going to be doing more videos like this. So remember, never, ever, ever let a black-eyed kid into your house or your vehicle. Run. Just go home and lock your doors. Do not let them near you. Okay. Bye, guys. Thank you.